Hello everybody and welcome to the channel. My name is Plami and in this episode of Rate the K, I'm gonna be reacting to DKB's recently released mini album, Love. And yes, I know that it's been a little while since this was released, but as I mentioned in my other videos, I've just been overwhelmed by releases and I just cannot seem to really catch up with the releases, so it's just gonna take a while for me to do the most recent comebacks that you might be interested in seeing reactions from me for. And the songs that I'm going to be reacting to in this video are going to be Tell 'Em Boys, Fondue, Curious, and Rose. And honestly, I don't really know what to expect from this song because I've only reacted to DKB's title tracks. Like, this is my first time reacting to their B-sides. And title track wise, they are not really my favorite. I mean, they're not bad, but they're nothing really that is... They're not really anything that appeals too much to me. I feel like their sound is a little bit too... Especially in this album, it's a little bit too... I don't know how to explain it. Too generic summery. Like, it sounds too much like generic summer K-pop songs. I don't know, but maybe those B-sides are not gonna be like that. But before we get into it and find out, I just wanna thank you guys for the 400 subscribers because we finally got into that milestone. It was a little bit lagging with the subscribers in the last month for some reason. I think it's just because I wasn't really uploading as much, or maybe uploading too much, I don't know. But we finally got into 400 subscribers. We still have 600 to go until I can actually make money off of my videos with that. But I'm still proud that I've managed to get to where I am right now, and I want to thank all 400 of you for subscribing to my channel and watching my videos. And I'm just happy seeing that so many people get to enjoy my videos and find enjoyment in my videos. And I do hope you keep doing that even as I keep growing bigger and bigger. Or at least I hope I will keep growing bigger and bigger, because who knows. But yeah, thank you all for watching my videos. I cannot really express how happy I am that so many people find my content entertaining. But yeah, without further ado, let's just get into what you're here for, that is the reaction. So let's start off the reaction by getting into DKB's Tell 'Em Boys in 3, 2, 1. And yeah, I'm sure I've mentioned it in my other reactions to DKB, but they have very unique visuals in this group. And yeah, the B-side is so far sounding exactly like what I expected it to be. But I actually kind of like it. Okay, the chorus is a little bit underwhelming. I like how it was building up, but it for some reason dropped it off for the chorus. Okay, the verses are so much better than the chorus. I don't know why that's the case, but they are. They just feel more sophisticated and catchier. The chorus is just so underwhelming for some reason. And this song, at least some of the vibes I'm getting from this song, reminds me a little bit of BTS's Save Me, and the general vibe they had around that time. But the chorus is just so underwhelming, and it's even different from the rest of the song. Like, the rest of the song is not really anything super special, but it has a little bit of a unique vibe to it. Like, it stands out. The chorus is super generic, I feel like. Most of it, not all of it, but most of it. Like, the verses, I actually enjoy them quite a lot. Maybe it's gonna grow on me after listening to it a little bit more, but as it stands, I'm just so disappointed by the chorus. Okay, so I would say this is a decent start. It's better than I expected it to be, and I enjoyed it more than I thought I was going to, but it's still worse than I would have preferred it to be, because it's not a bad song. I think it's a perfectly enjoyable song, and it definitely fits with the vibe of the title track, which is something that doesn't really happen that often, surprisingly. At least it feels like it doesn't happen that frequently. So it's definitely something that I've noticed for this album, at least. But it's just, there's some left to be desired for this song, mainly the chorus. I feel like at first when you get into the song, it's building up very nicely. It's interesting enough, I would say. Like, I enjoyed this on first listen more than I did for the title track, but I might be lying for that one. I'm not sure. Go watch my video on the title track to see, but I feel like I enjoyed it more on first listen, and as I was listening to it, it was building up nicely. And then for the chorus, it was a complete letdown, honestly. It sounds generic, doesn't sound as catchy as the rest of it, and it just sounds, I don't want to necessarily say cheap, but it doesn't sound as sophisticated as the verses do. And it's weird because the rest of the verses are as good as the first one. It's just the chorus that is a letdown for some reason. But yeah, overall it's a decent song, but there's definitely ways that it could be better. I think ultimately I would put it personally at a 7.9 out of 10. I think it's a song that I might listen to, but I honestly can't say for sure because they're not really my favorite group or anything, so I don't really have a reason to force myself into liking the B-sides or anything. But I can see myself listening to this one occasionally. But yeah, ultimately, it should have been better. Objectively, I think I'm going to give it an 8.3 out of 10, which is obviously a high score, but even then, I don't really feel like it's a song that people would say is a 10 out of 10. At most, I might see some people give it an 8.5 or an 8.7 out of 10, but I feel like on the safer side, it's better to be an 8.3 because I think the fact that the chorus just isn't as good as the rest of it could turn off a lot of people. Or maybe not, I don't know, I'm just basing this on how I think people think. So yeah, let's get into the next song of this video, that being Fondue. And let's see what this one is gonna be tasty in 3, 2, 1. Okay, this is a subunit. Definitely a little bit more interesting instrumental. Is this a rapper subunit? I don't like how offbeat the rapping is. I know it's just the intro of the song, but it just bothered me a little bit. I do prefer rapping that goes with the beat rather than against it more, so that might be the reason why I don't like it. But I would say this one definitely appeals to me more because I am more of a rapper fan than a singer fan. Like, I enjoy good singing, but rapping is just more interesting to me. Especially in K-pop. In American music or just music in English, I don't really care too much about anything. If a song, I find a song catchy, I find it catchy, I don't really have things that I look for, like I do for K-pop. So yeah, this is definitely a rapper subunit song, which is cool to see. Honestly, I gotta say, these songs so far feel surprisingly easy to get into. Like, I genuinely can see myself casually listening to these ones. It's not gonna be like how it is for me with ATEEZ' music or Stray Kids' music, where I constantly listen to their B-sides. Whether I like them or not, I force myself to at least give it a genuine try. For these ones, I honestly, even if I don't really think they are amazing, I can easily see myself listening to the last one and this one just casually. So in a certain way, I kind of like that about them. Like, they're very easy to get into. Is it over? Okay, so I think it's over. Okay, so for this one, I can surprisingly see myself listening to it casually. Like, I definitely find the rapping could be a little bit more catchier and a little bit more, I mean, I don't know really how to explain it, but I do have specific preferences for the kind of rapping that I enjoy, and this one is fine, but it's not as catchy or as hard-hitting as it would need to be for me to be really in love with it. But from a weird casual perspective, I actually find it pretty good. Like, I don't know, it's not really a kind of song that I would constantly listen to on repeat, but I can genuinely see myself casually listening to this one. And that's kind of the same for the last one as well. I don't know if it's the vibe that these songs are having in this album as a whole, the genre, or just the style they're doing, but these songs are surprisingly easily to get into from a casual perspective. Which is a little surprising why they are not more popular. Like, this album sold like 8,500 albums, I think. Like, they are surprisingly easy to get into and still offer a lot of things that other groups offer as well. So if you have a hard time getting into groups like ATEEZ, I don't really see why you wouldn't get into this group, although maybe they're not as original or interesting, which I can definitely see as a complaint for DKB, because it is a complaint of mine. I just prefer groups that are more darker, edgier, harder, and more unique, which is why groups like Stray Kids, ATEEZ, ACE are in my top 3 groups, and other ones like NCT, MCND are right behind them as well. And this group is not really as original or interesting, I would say, as those groups in terms of genre and sound, but they are still pretty good. And as I said, from a casual perspective, in a certain sense, they might be better than those, because for groups like Stray Kids, the wall you have to break through to get into them, if it's not necessarily your kind of thing, it's definitely tougher to break through compared to DKB, who are very easy to get into, which kind of weirds me out, because as I said, I'm much more into the more harder and unique kind of groups, and it's weird for me to have a song like this, which I definitely don't find as enjoyable as I do songs from Stray Kids or ATEEZ, but from a casual perspective, I still would listen to it. I don't know. I really don't know. So yeah, the rapping definitely could be catchier and snappier and more interesting, but it's still fine. So I think for this one, I'm going to give it an 8.3 out of 10, basically what I gave objectively to the last one. Because this one appeals to me more because of the rapping, and I mean, I think that's pretty much it, because it's basically the exact same song like the last one in terms of the vibe and the style and everything. Maybe it's a little bit more chiller, and this also, the vibe of this song also reminds me, I think, of 90s music from America. Especially, it definitely sounds like the kind of music that when I was like, I don't know, 12 years old, you would hear on some of the music channels which played foreign music, or more specifically music in English. It definitely feels very similar to that. Objectively, I think I'm going to give it an 8.3 as well. I think it's not really better objectively than Talent Boys, and some people might not find it as interesting because it's a completely rap song. A song completely full with rapping compared to the last one, which was with a lot of singing as well. So I feel like it's fair to put them on equal amounts because both personally objectively, because I feel like if you don't enjoy it, that doesn't make the song bad, but if you do enjoy it, they're pretty much on equal grounds ultimately. So yeah, I guess without further ado, let's continue with the next song, Curious, and let's get into it in 3, 2, 1. And again with this, like, it's so weird. The vibes and the beats of the song are instantly enjoyable. But it's more of in a casual sense where I wouldn't skip this song if I stumbled upon it, but I wouldn't really go out of my way to listen to it. Wait, I thought this was a vocal song. Okay, this one is the best one so far. Oh yeah, I'm really enjoying this fusion of the rapping and the singing. I love when songs are very hard-hitting with the rapping, but also have really good vocals in between that make it very melodic as well. That's pretty much my perfect kind of a K-pop song. So I'm really liking this one.
Girl, 넌 정말 아름다운 원더 우만 같은 너에 대해 따라가고파 내 머릿속에 물음표 너로 가득 찼어 이 물음들이 느낀.
Man, there's a lot of rapping in this one. This flow or style or whatever you want to call it definitely feels more to me than the last one. The last one was a way too chill for me. I still like that it was rapping, but I didn't really love it. I just casually liked it, as I said. But this one, I'm genuinely enjoying the rapping a lot. Honestly, this might be as good, if not even better, than the title track. The reason why I can't necessarily judge is because the title track itself is not in like my top 10 or songs released this year or anything. It's just a song that I would casually listen to, but not really go out of my way to listen to. That's pretty much the way I would describe DKB. They're casually interesting, but not something that I would really jump into and constantly listen to. Okay, I'm definitely reacting to this one a second time. Wait, I don't think that's how you pronounce curious. Or maybe they were saying curious, yeah. That's why it sounded off a little weird. Okay, so we're gonna get into this one more time before I say anything about it, because otherwise my thoughts are pretty similar to the last two songs in terms of how I feel about the sound and the vibe, but I think this one is probably as good as the title track because it fuses the rapping and the singing really well, and I've listened to the title track quite a long time ago at this point, so I don't really remember how well it fused the rapping and the singing, but this one does it really well, and if the title track doesn't do it as well, I think this might be the best song on this album. So let's get into it again in 3, 2, 1. Yeah, right off the bat, I'm loving the beat. Yeah, it's still a little too chill for me to really love it, but I think it's a really good song. Like, in comparison to other songs, it's too chill for me to really be in love with it, but I still like it quite a lot. And I definitely think it's the best one on the album. This is the kind of songs, these songs are the reason why I love reacting to albums of K-pop groups, because you never know what kind of hidden gem you'll find. Girl, 넌 정말 아름다운 원더 우만 같은 너의 대에 따라가고파 내 머릿속에 물음표 너로 가득 찼어 이 물음들이 느낌표가 될 때까지 머릿속을 swimming 너랑 눈션 너무 깊어 더 딥한 곳에 빠져 우리 둘만 있는 곳으로. And again, I gotta point out, these B-sides don't necessarily feel like B-sides. Like, they definitely feel better than your average B-side. Which I found that most B-sides, or at least quite a lot of B-sides, are better than you would think they are. Like, obviously, a lot of the time there are filler B-sides, which are there just to fill up space in the album, but a lot of the times the B-sides are genuinely good, or at least there's one song album that is amazing in addition to the title track. I really like E2's rapping. He's really good. Ooh, I love this kind of sing rapping. Like, it's a little bit of a combination of the two. For the most part, they're singing, but they go in the same kind of beat that the rappers do. I honestly love whenever singers/rappers do that. It's really cool. But from a reactor's perspective, it's a little annoying as well because I can't tell whether I should consider it singing or rapping. Oh yeah, I'm really finding this song catchy. I'll definitely be listening to this one. Okay, so yeah, pretty much don't really have too much to say about this. Yeah, pretty much what I said about the last two songs, and additionally, the fact that I find this one catchier than those. I think a lot of the things about this one worked in the last two songs as well. It's definitely, again, more of a casual listen compared to other songs that I've listened to, because like songs from Stray Kids like God's Menu, it's a very hard-hitting song, and I've listened to it probably 100 times at this point, and it's still not getting old. For this one, I do really find it catchy, but again, it's more of from a casual perspective. If I hear it on the radio, I would enjoy it. If I stumble upon it on my playlist, I would enjoy it. But I don't really necessarily think I would go out of my way to search and listen to it. I think out of the songs from them that I've reacted to in this video, this one is the most like the usual K-pop songs I listen to, in terms of like, this one I'm the most likely to go out of my way to listen to, but it's still nowhere near the level it is for the my favorite groups' songs. And yeah, as I said, I really like the fusion of the rapping and the singing. I think it works really well. I love whenever songs are very hard-hitting in the rap parts, but also have very melodic singing parts. That is also true to Stray Kids' God's Menu, by the way. I really love that whenever it's a fusion between the two, it always ends up being so good, because I feel like if it's too rap-heavy, it's good, but it just doesn't have the same feel as if it's a combination of the two. I feel like it works much better, and it makes for much more epic songs and more iconic songs when it's a fusion between the two rather than just one of those things. And yeah, I think for this one personally, I'm honestly gonna give it a 9 out of 10. I think it's a really good song, and I will most likely be listening to it at least a little bit. I'll definitely go out of my way to listen to it, but I feel like it's still not gonna be anywhere near the amount I've listened to other songs. Like, for example, recently Super M's Tiger Inside, I've been non-stop playing it, and Helicopter by COC as well, and Favorite Voice by Ace. I've been constantly listening to those three songs. I think I'll still listen to this one, but nowhere near to the level I've listened to those. And objectively, I mean, I don't remember what I gave the title track, because it was a while ago at this point, like 2 or 3 months ago. But I'm honestly, in comparison to the rest of the B-sides, I'm gonna give this one a 10 out of 10. It's a really good song. I don't really see any flaws in this one, maybe just the other guys rapping, like not Ichan, but the other guys rapping in the second half of the song, I don't find as catchy, but it's a minor complaint. And I feel like, again, most people are gonna ignore it, most people are not gonna see any of these complaints and are gonna enjoy it. And if I enjoyed it so much, I think most people are gonna enjoy it even more than me, so that's why I'm giving it a 10 out of 10 objectively. And now, let's get into the last song of this video, that being DKB's Rose, which I'm most definitely sure that it's going to be a vocal-based song, because we've had one song by all of them, one song by a rap subunit, one by a combination of rappers and singers, so it would only make sense for this song to be just by singers, but who knows. We'll find out in 3, 2, 1. Oh no, it's by all of them again. Okay, this one is the best song. Are you fucking kidding me? What? Okay, the English lyrics can be a little bit more sophisticated, because they're a little too simple for me, but I'm loving everything else about the song. Honestly, I'm surprised by how much I actually ended up enjoying this album. What? Especially in the last two songs, like Curious and this one. I feel like I'm enjoying these songs more than the title track. Like, they really put effort into the B-side. Damn, I'm surprised, honestly. Now that I think about it, I'm definitely surprised by how good they are. Oh, Loon's singing is amazing. There's definitely part of the song that are a little wonky, but I love when it works, it really works, is what I'm trying to say. Honestly, now that I think about it, DKB remind me a lot of 80s music. Because 80s also has some wonky English lyrics where it doesn't make any sense. A sentence would not make any sense, like most recently in the song Fever. And in general, the vibe that I'm getting from DKB is very similar to 80s in the sense that they both feel like they released mostly summer songs with a summer vibe to them, and with some American sounding influences to them. I'm not saying that DKB is copying 80s or anything, I'm just comparing the two. I don't think there's anything wrong with that, but some people have a problem when I do that. Yeah, I can safely say for sure that I will be listening to Curious and Rose in my free time as well. I'm loving these two songs. I'm honestly loving them more than the title track, if I gotta be honest. Like, the title track might have had a little bit more of a unique identity compared to these two, but these two are, even though they might be a little bit generic summer song feel to them, they're done amazingly well, to the point where the fact that they're a little on the generic side doesn't really bother me, because I think it's more important how well a song is done, at least in some cases, than whether it's unique or not. Like, I can appreciate a good song even if I find it a little bit generic, and especially if it manages to still break through and make itself enjoyable for me, that is really great. And yeah, for this one, because I love it so much and because there are some things I want to point out about it and talk about it, again, we'll be listening to it one more time in 3, 2, 1. Yeah, I love how right off the bat, similar to the last song, you just feel like it's a really good song. I love it. The instrumental is instantly amazing. And the vibe that I'm getting right off the bat, I love. These songs also remind me of the song Love Me or Leave Me from Day6's album that I reacted to. They definitely are in the same... I mean, they all feel like summer songs, really, with a very similar vibe, so... And I like that kind of vibe, so... You won't find me complaining that they're doing this. But yeah, definitely after listening to the last song and this one, I will definitely be paying more attention to DKB's music from now on, because I'm loving these two B-sides. Yeah, as I said, there's some parts that are a little wonky, that don't necessarily sound as good as other parts, but for the most part, it's not about the singing or the rapping in it, it's just the instrumental and how the song is structured. That's the problem a little bit. Because for the most part, the singing and the rapping is really good. I think the most annoying part about the instrumental is this part here where the instrumental just does whatever it's doing right now. I think to me it's a little more annoying than it is catchy. And I kind of get what they're trying to do with the instrumental here, but I just find it a little more annoying than enjoyable. But the rest of the song is really good. Honestly, this is better than the title track. I love the unique vibe, so much of a unique vibe that the title track had compared to these songs, but this is just done better. This should have been the title track if you ask me. Like, this is fucking amazing. Like, what? I definitely expected to not enjoy this reaction as much as I ended up doing so. And still, the first two songs are definitely worse than the next two, like the last two that I reacted to. But I did not at all expect to enjoy these songs that much, because the title track itself was fine. I definitely enjoyed this song of theirs, like Still, much more than the previous one that they released. I think it was called Mama or something. But still, the kind of generic summer feel that it had was not something that I really liked. And overall for this album, it's still not something that I love, but honestly, they still did it really well with the last two songs, like Rose and Curious, that I don't really care that it's a generic summer sound that they're doing it with. It's more important that it's good songs and that I still find them catchy. So honestly, for this one, both personally and objectively, I am going to give it a 10 out of 10. Or at worst, maybe personally, I would give it a 9.8 out of 10. But I don't really think my problem with the instrumental in the post-chorus is really that big of a deal that it would be worth it to lower the score. So I think I'm going to give it a personal and objective score of 10 out of 10. I think it's just a great song. It's basically what was good about Curious done with everybody in the group doing the song. It's literally just, I mean, I wouldn't say it's a better version because the songs still sound very different from each other, but it's the same thing just done with everybody, and it still manages to work really well, and I love that. I love that. As I said, I'll definitely be paying more attention to DKB now because I surprisingly enjoy this, and maybe I should go back and react to their debut album, I think it is. But I'm actually not sure, did I react to it or not? Because I remember reacting to the title track. But I don't really remember how I felt about it, which I feel like might be a problem, might be the problem, because I don't really remember it too much. I just remember that I didn't like it that much. But I might have also reacted to the album, I don't know. If I haven't, I might react to it at some point in the future, but we'll see when. Because I still have a lot of albums to react to, of groups that I have came back in the last 2 or 3 months. So yeah, we'll see how that's gonna go, but yeah, I'm definitely gonna be paying more attention to them. The sound is still not as unique as I would want it to for me to be able to love it, but they're kind of at a similar position to groups like Astro for me. It's a very generic sound, at least from my perspective on things, but they do it so well that I don't really care that it's generic, and I still find those songs enjoyable, that it doesn't matter that it's not generic. So I definitely will be paying attention to them, and as I said in my last reactions, to Astro. And yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, leave a like, subscribe. Also, check out the link in the description to my Twitter if you want to follow me there, and to my Wattpad, where I post my stories. Because in addition to doing all these videos on my channel, I'm also a writer. And if you end up enjoying my stories or simply enjoy my videos, you can head over to Patreon where you can pledge your support and help keep the channel going and help support me so I can keep writing the stories you enjoy. But still, if you don't want to do it, that's completely fine. You can still help me out by liking this video, subscribing, and especially sharing this video with somebody who you think might enjoy it. And I think that's pretty much it for this video, so hopefully I'm gonna see you in the next one. Bye!